you think you're real, solid, physical, existing in a universe with 3 dimensions of space and 1 of time. Up and down, left and right, forward and backward. That's reality. Or at least, that's what your brain allows you to see. But what if this isn't the highest level of existence? What if our entire universe is just a lower layer? Imagine a 2-dimensional world. Flat beings living on a sheet of paper. They can move left and right, forward and backward, but they cannot comprehend up. If you lifted one of them off the page, it would vanish from their universe instantly. Not because it died, but because it moved somewhere they cannot perceive. Now ask yourself something uncomfortable. What if that's happening to us? Physics already hints that the universe might contain more than 3 spatial dimensions. String theory, for example, doesn't work with just 3. It needs more, sometimes 10, sometimes 11. But here's the part most people don't think about. If higher dimensions exist, something could exist inside them. And if something exists in a higher dimension, it wouldn't be limited the way we are. To a 2D being, a 3D creature would look like a god. It could see inside their bodies without cutting them open. It could appear and disappear at will. It could manipulate their world without being fully visible. Now extend that logic upward. If a 4th or 5th spatial dimension exists, we wouldn't see the beings there. We wouldn't detect them directly, but they could see us completely. Not just your body, your entire timeline. Every moment of your life could be visible to something that stands outside our dimensional layer. Like we look at a photograph. From that perspective, your birth, your future, your death, all of it could exist simultaneously, not unfolding, already complete. And that changes something fundamental. Because we tend to think we are near the top of complexity. We discovered atoms, we mapped galaxies, we built telescopes that look billions of years into the past. But what if we are just flatlanders with better tools? There's something deeply unsettling about hierarchy in dimensions. Each level makes the previous one look small. A line cannot understand a cube, a square cannot comprehend a sphere. So what would a 3-dimensional human fail to comprehend? If higher dimensions are real, then our universe might not be the full structure. It might be a cross-section, a slice, like a shadow of something larger. And here's where it gets disturbing. If our universe is just a slice of something higher, then events that look random to us might not be random at all. They might be the result of interactions happening beyond our dimensional awareness. Just like a 2D being would see a finger passing through their world as a strange circle appearing out of nowhere, we might be seeing only partial intersections of something greater. Dark matter, quantum fluctuations, unexplained anomalies. What if those aren't mysteries? What if they're shadows? We assume that what we cannot see does not interact with us, but physics keeps suggesting otherwise. And if there are higher levels of dimensional structure, then we are not at the top. We are somewhere in the middle. And history has shown something very uncomfortable about being in the middle. We experience time like a river. It moves forward, always forward, 1 second at a time. You remember the past, you imagine the future, and you live in a thin slice called now. But what if that feeling is an illusion? In physics, there's an idea called the block universe. It suggests something radical. Past, present, and future may all exist simultaneously, not metaphorically, literally. Imagine your life not as a moving dot traveling along a line, but as a complete structure already laid out. Every moment, your childhood, this exact second, the end of your life, all existing at once in a 4-dimensional structure. From inside the structure, it feels like movement. From outside, it would look frozen, complete. If a higher dimensional being exists, one that can step outside of time, the way we step outside of a flat drawing, it wouldn't see your life unfolding. It would see your entire existence at once, like a sculpture. That changes something deeply personal, because if your future already exists, are you choosing it, or just experiencing it? We assume we are moving forward through time, but what if time is not something we travel through? What if time is something we are embedded in, like a character inside a film reel? The character thinks events are happening in sequence, but to someone holding the reel in their hands, every frame already exists. Now imagine a being that can move between those frames, pause them, jump forward, step backward. To that being, our understanding of cause and effect would look primitive. And here's where it gets even more unsettling. Modern physics doesn't strongly disagree with this idea. Einstein's equations don't demand that only the present is real. In fact, Relativity blurs the idea of a universal now. What is present for you may not be present for someone moving at a different speed. There is no absolute moment shared by the entire universe, which means the flow of time might not be fundamental, it might be psychological, a feature of consciousness navigating something much larger. If higher dimensions include time as a spatial-like structure, then our entire reality could be a lower dimensional slice moving through a higher dimensional object. We feel progression, but perhaps nothing is progressing. And that brings us to a disturbing thought. If higher dimensional beings can see your entire timeline, then privacy doesn't exist, secrets don't exist, uncertainty doesn't exist. Everything is already exposed. And from that perspective, we wouldn't look powerful. We would look limited, confined to a narrow strip of awareness, unable to see what surrounds us. Just like a flat creature cannot look up. If that's true, then the terrifying consequence isn't that higher dimensions exist, it's that we might already be inside something we can't perceive. If higher dimensions exist, and if time is just another layer, then there's a final question we can't avoid. What happens if something from above moves? Think about a 2D world again. If you push your finger through a flat sheet of paper, the beings inside would not see your finger as a finger. They would see a circle appear, grow, change shape, shrink, disappear. To them it would look like something impossible, a violation of physics. But from your perspective, nothing magical happened. You just moved your hand. Now scale that upward. If a higher dimensional structure intersects our universe, we wouldn't perceive the full object. We would only see the cross-section, a slice, a shadow, something appearing where nothing was before. Something changing shape without explanation, something vanishing without decay. And here's the uncomfortable part. We already observe phenomena that behave in ways we don't fully understand. Quantum particles that seem to exist in multiple states at once. Entanglement that links objects across vast distances instantly. Regions of space that expand faster than expected. Dark matter that exerts gravity, but cannot be seen. We call them mysteries, but what if some of them are not broken laws of physics? What if they are partial intersections with something higher? We assume the universe is self-contained, closed. Everything inside follows rules generated inside. But what if our universe is embedded in something larger, like a three-dimensional bubble floating in a higher dimensional sea? In that case, what we call laws of nature might simply be boundary conditions, local rules inside a bigger structure. And local rules can be overridden, not because they are wrong, but because they were never ultimate. If something from a higher dimension interacted with our universe directly, we might not recognize it as interaction. We might label it coincidence, anomaly, statistical fluctuation. We might build entire theories to explain it, never realizing we're describing the shadow, not the object casting it. And that leads to the most unsettling consequence of all. If we are not at the highest level of dimensional structure, then we are not the final observers. We are observed, not necessarily by conscious beings, but by a broader structure that contains us. Just as a drawing cannot comprehend the hand holding the pencil, we may not be able to comprehend what contains reality itself. The terrifying part isn't that higher dimensions could exist. Mathematically, they probably do. The terrifying part is hierarchy. Every level above makes the level below look simple, limited, incomplete. If a four-dimensional perspective makes our entire timeline visible, what would a fifth dimension reveal? What would a sixth erase? And how many layers are above us? We assume we are near the top, because we are the most complex thing we know, but every civilization in history thought it was central. Every generation thought it understood the structure of reality, and every time, we discovered we were embedded inside something larger. The Earth inside a solar system, the solar system inside a galaxy, the galaxy inside a cosmic web. So ask yourself something quietly uncomfortable. What if 3 dimensions were never the final stage? What if we are not at the summit of reality, but near the bottom? And if something higher ever decided to move through our layer, we might not even recognize the moment it happened.